Welcome to our weekly discussion of all things current in California politics. I'm Walt Gray, joined again this week by Rich Ehisen, who is editor-in-chief of Capital Weekly publication. Rich, good to have you here on this weekend morning. So Katie Porter, the Democrat, has now said she will run for governor. We're still waiting on Kamala Harris to announce likely she might run for governor at the end of the summer. Between those two, what would the rest of the field, what kind of chance would they have?
Well, I mean, if you believe the polling right now, you would say one of those two has the best shot. Now, I will say this, though, and I've said this before, a lot of these folks on the Democratic side of the aisle, they share the same consultants, the same fundraisers, that kind of thing. I think if Kamala does get in, Katie Porter said it, if she gets in, then she's going to drop out. I think it would absolutely push out a lot of the other candidates who are going to struggle to raise money and have very little name recognition anyway. If Kamala doesn't get in, I would say Katie probably will, at least going into this summer, still be the leader, you know, in the clubhouse, or so to speak.
Oh, for sure. For the rest of them, it's got to be tough because those are two, especially Katie's already committed. And if Kamala Harris comes in, wow, that does clear the field.
I will tell you, add one thing here.
Okay.
A lot of folks in the Democratic Party are not happy with Katie Porter right now. So my guess is going to be that there's going to be some pressure coming maybe on Kamala to make up her mind sooner than later.
Okay. Assemblyman Bill Asaley is backing a measure in order for California residents to register to vote, to have a proof of citizenship, and then to vote that they need a photo ID. Who's against that?
Well, pretty much the entire Democratic caucus, I would say.
Now, playing devil's advocate here,
Sure.
Why would you not want each voter to be registered or have proof of that? Why would the Democrats be opposing that?
Well, because I think for a lot of folks, this is very performative. I mean, the occurrence of legitimate voter fraud in this country and in this state is infinitesimal. And for this is something, by the way, the co-author of that bill is Carl DeMaio, who's also, we've noted on this before, these are folks who like to go on social media. They like to make these kinds of, big, bold announcements. But, from the Dems' standpoint, this is wasting time because there's almost no proof at all of any legitimate, widespread voter fraud. So I think, they're not going to play along with this because it just feels like they're not Gavin Newsom. They're not ready to start, supplicating themselves to the Republicans the way our governor seems to be doing right now.
A bit of a local issue akin to Sacramento City in terms of some residents of the city are now getting ticketed for code violations for having their RVs and boats in their driveways and or in the street. What would be a reason why, well, the city is now finally enforcing this, but people are not happy about it, but it is a code.
It is a code, yeah. And, it looks like they're contemplating putting a pause on this because I think the big ticket is that the fines went way up. My understanding is they went from a few $100s up to around $1,500.
Yes.
That's pretty significant. And, it is code. They're going to have to decide if it's worth the fight on this one.
Right.
But, that's a pretty significant jump. I think that's why folks, they were willing to maybe, go along with it for a little bit. But that's a lot of money.
Could we suggest maybe the city issue warnings saying, okay, we're watching again, and if you do keep doing this, you're going to get something of a fine, but to your point, not necessarily $1,500, right?
Yeah, if we had to guess, that's almost assuredly what would come out of the hearings. Look, we can set up a warning system so that people can at least make a decision if they want to make that kind of a risk.
Right. Okay, Rich Ehisen, thank you so much. If you'd like to reach out to Rich, you can do so. Rich.Ehisen@capitalweekly.net.